Greetings and welcome to the 16th or 17th episode of our Mod of the Month series, looking at the best Morrowind mods released each month. As always, I'm your host, Talk Elf Guy, and today we're actually going to be looking at the best mods of September 2016. At this rate, we should be caught up in a few weeks finally. And anyway, September saw the release of 39 new Morrowind mods, but of course we can only look at the top 3 mods decided by you guys in an online poll for this showcase, which includes, oddly enough, a sort of modders resource / combined project assets at the top. So we'll be trying our best to, showcase that. Now, we do have a new online poll up for the best mods of October 2016. You'll find a link to that down in the video description below, along with download links to all the mods shown. And real quick, I did want to mention that there's a slight possibility that I may disappear for a few days. There's some sort of ice storm that's supposed to hit the region soon, and if it's as bad as the last ice storm to hit this area, I could be without power for a few days. Hopefully it doesn't amount to that, and we'll be back with another video over the weekend. And anyway, our mod of the month for September 2016 is Tamriel Data by the Project Tamriel and Tamriel Rebuilt teams. Now, this is kind of a curious choice for the mod of the month, since it isn't a mod per se, but a collected database of assets for the major province teams that can be, used to install assets for Tamriel Rebuilt, Skyrim Home of the Nords, and of course, Province Cyrodiil. As well as a modders resource with, thousands of new models, textures, and items to choose from. And in order to, show off what this massive package contains, I'm going to show off bits of each of the 3 major province mods so you can, get an idea of the sort of resources included here. There's a lot of new architecture sets included with this package, such as, the City of Necrom, which has its own unique set of buildings, walls, plazas, domes, and bridges that you could potentially, play with in your own mods. As well as Tamriel Rebuilt's numerous lore-friendly and vanilla-styled additional resources to the other, major vanilla Morrowind tile sets like the Cyrodiil in Indoral. There's also a ton of new architecture sets from Skyrim Home of the Nords and Province Cyrodiil, with, I believe, it's about 4 unique city and building architecture sets found in Skyrim Home of the Nords, including the Red Guard-style architecture of Karth Wasteland and Dragonstar, the Nordic villager architecture set of, smaller settlements, like, for example, the small village of Karthgad, and then there's also the Reachman architecture set, which is, rather notable with the sort of, thatched roofs and tall houses and all that. And finally, there's the Markarth architectural set, which we're not showing off here, but is basically a more traditional sort of wood-styled sort of design. And in the case of Skyrim Home of the Nords, you also have an absolute ton of other smaller architecture sets, like the Darini Ruins set with broken walls, towers, compounds, and citadels to choose from. And, there's also barrow sets with Nordic, the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim-style barrows, ruined fort towers, and also tribal orc yurts and tents found in orc encampments. Province Cyrodiil likewise has the Gold Coast architectural set, which you can see a bit here on the island of Stirk, and I believe there's actually a few resources in this package from the work-in-progress Anvil City area on the mainland as well. And you also find the Aeoliad Ruin architecture set included here, with some very similar, ruin designs from the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, which is, one of my personal favourite ruin sets, at least in terms of, exterior style and design. Though, of course, I prefer Dwemer ruins overall, though. There's also a ton of other stuff, obviously. Pretty much every asset ever created by the Tamriel Rebuilt, or Project Tamriel teams, is included in this one massive download. So that means new rocks, terrain cliffs, forests and trees, grass and flowers, ingredients and mushrooms, and whatever else you can imagine, as well as all new dishware, urns, furniture, rugs, wall hangings, food, interior tile sets, and so on and so forth. There's really far too much stuff for us to cover it all here, but needless to say, this is a pretty big boon to modders. Not only can you use these resources in your own mods, but this is also a fantastic way to get used to the Tamriel Rebuilt or Project Tamriel assets before applying to join their modding team. So I believe, new modders are still required to submit their showcases using DP furniture. But either way, this is a really incredible resource, hence why it's our pick for the mod of the month of September 2016. Next up, we have our second choice for the mod of the month, the Lamp by My Eyes. And it certainly seems like we've been showcasing this mod a lot lately. We just showcased it last week in the top 10 Morrowind mods of 2016 in the number 7 position, which it certainly deserves, and, given that, it really shouldn't come as much of a surprise that it also got picked for the second choice for the mod of the month of September. Now, for those of you who somehow don't know this yet, the Lamp is a quest and adventure mod that starts out when you purchase a broken old lamp from a street vendor, and when you go to have it repaired, it triggers a fairly, surprising adventure that involves traveling through space and time, Daedric princes, rats on flying cockpits, extremely difficult puzzles, and assassination attempts. Without a doubt, it's one of 2016's best quest mods, and if you haven't played it yet, you really should. Though I do feel a little bit silly showcasing it so soon after, we just showcased it. But, oh well, that's just, one of the problems we're falling so far behind on the Mod of the Month series. And in any event, I don't want to, give away too much since this is a quest mod, and part of the fun is finding out the story for yourself. But again, I do highly recommend it. And finally, our third pick for the Mod of the Month is Iceblade of the Monarch PBR by Flash3113. This is a fairly simple and straightforward mod that replaces everything about the famed artifact and one of the best weapons in the game, the Iceblade of the Monarch, which in vanilla Morrowind anyway, is one of the best long swords around. This is pretty much a complete replacer. It replaces the model, textures, and even the inventory icon in the Iceblade of the Monarch with new versions. And of course, the highlight here is the PBR, or physical based rendering support. This is only available with the newest alpha version of the Morrowind graphics extender, and of course, it'll only show up under certain lighting conditions, but it's a really beautiful and detailed replacer. And of course, you don't need PBR to take advantage of this extremely lovely and beautifully crafted weapon. It just has a lot more detailing with physical based rendering installed, and we're going to take some close-up shots here of the Ice Blade, and again you can just make out a ton of detail here. This looks a lot better than the weapons you can typically find in Oblivion, and honestly to a certain extent, the weapons that you can find in Skyrim. The only downside is that PBR is extremely resource intensive, and it causes a fair amount of lag even on some new high-end computers. But anyway, this is a really cool and amazing looking replacer, hence why it's our third pick for the Mod of the Month. And anyway, that wraps up this week's episode. We'll be back in about a week with the October results, and in the meantime, don't forget to cast your votes for your favourite mod from October 2016 in our online poll. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.